So I guess the reason why we're still talking is because we wanted to ultimately find out just exactly how to help you find out how to be comfortable around a multi-billionaire and be funny. And well, before we get to that, we'll continue just exactly where it is we were going with what goes on with these certain categories of age groups for music videos, and just what exactly goes on, so that this facility knows just exactly what it is they're doing. So essentially what you need is all of these age groups, and then you have a room full of people, and then you basically just know what are the problems that you're going to run into, and then you know what it is they should do. So essentially for, you know, the younger kids, it's just going to be a lot of developmental things. So you're going to have, you know, make sure you always do your homework. Make sure that, you know, you pick up after yourself, so that when you get everything out, that you put everything back, and make sure that you mind your manners and you're polite, and sort of so on and so forth. Now it's going to also be just exactly the constant things that they have happen to them, and so it's showing an example of how you should be, and then an example of how it is, and then how you overcome that. So really the delivery of the music video concept is a small government effort that'll help out hundreds of millions as a side effect. So, you know, you have a larger age group of, you know, the development age group of like 8 to 12, yeah, and you know, obviously they're changing in that time period, so it's just going to be like, you know, sort of showing that, as far as, you know, also the singers that are on that channel, obviously, are the same age group, and then sort of the changes that you go through, girls and guys, and then what it is that you would, you know, get yourself into. Now, it's obviously a traumatizing time for anybody, so you're going to, you know, have videos and stuff where there's the situation of embarrassment, and then, you know, even like go back into your bedroom and do push-ups. Or, you know, if it's something to do with your clothes, you know, go mow the neighbor's lawn and go get a pair of new shoes. It's not like anybody enjoys this time period, but it's always been that way, and it'll always be that way. But it teaches you that every tiny little bit counts, and every little effort counts too. So essentially, by the time that you're finished with all of these music video age groups, you have, you know, 100 singers, and, you know, they're all sort of helping out all of these different age groups. Now, obviously, we have a situation where these singers started out sort of kind of like that, and then they ended up a lot like this. Now, understanding where it is everything went wrong, and then making sure you just identify what the easy road is in that room with a lot of important people for music video making, and then you say, you know, what the things that you need. You know, you need to be courageous, and then have hope, and then you know, have a lot of willpower and be a leader, and then, you know, what kind of things now that would showcase in the video, and then just make a storyline together. Now, essentially then, once you have the concept of that, then we're basically going to talk about just exactly, well, what was going on with, you know, Hayley Williams and Christina Aguilera, as far as where it is you can, for instance, make it to your multi-billionaire's house and you want to stay there. Now, believe it or not, there's actually tons of things that you're not allowed to do. And, well, unfortunately, there's nothing that can help you in that area. There's an actual specific thing that you have to do. Now, before we get to that, all you need to do leading up to that point, for instance, like, is just be extremely clean. Yeah, just if you don't have anything to say and he's not talking, then just don't do anything. Just make sure everything is absolutely clean. You know, when I was married, Jennifer took 2-hour baths, and I never knew what went on in there, but she was in there forever, and she always smelled like Dove soap when she came out. And you can pretty much never ever do anything wrong in a relationship as long as whatever you are doing, when it's nothing at all, you're extremely clean while you're doing it. So as far as a billionaire goes, he can basically just have you do nothing all day as long as you're really clean while doing nothing. Now, it doesn't mean technically that you always have to act like in position. You can suggest how promiscuous you are by what it is you're wearing that day. So if you're wanting to sort of make sure that, you know, you can stay there after you're there, then, you know, make sure that you're wearing things that are suggestive. And you can technically be sleazy, and you don't want that. What you want to be is have your body tell him exactly what your mental story is. Because if you're having to show it by your position, you can't help it if you're really classy, but you basically think, how many people before me was there that thought that was appropriate? Because that tells me everything I need to know about you. Which is why it's always project-based, and then just get in the position of the project while you're clean and while you're wearing cute stuff. Now, this is all preparing the time period when you said, I finally am away from my boyfriend that's dangerous, and now I feel like I can talk and be open, but you don't have anything to say, and you don't want to fuck it up. For instance, there's that movie with the Playboy bunny girl that it's called House Bunny, where she's always like, shut up, or she says the person's name like, Jessica. Fact of the matter is, when you are in a house with someone that thought that movie was retarded and not funny, then you watching that movie and displaying that in front of this guy will basically make him go. And for how hot you are, and there's some girls out there that are, I mean, Victoria's Secret Angel pretty, and they finally have this door open, and then the only thing that they remember is all of these movies that they build up, these B-rated movies. And they're just like, it's the first thing that came to my mind. I just started talking, and it's like, we're watching a movie, and the first thing I said was, oh my gosh, I have the best idea. And I'm like, what? Let's go on a scavenger hunt. It's like, can we do it later? Can we finish watching the movie? Okay. You saw a movie, it came out, and he's just like, and he'll never tell you, but he'll say, I know what movie that was from, and I didn't like it. And that's the part where I told you that this entire area you can fuck up on. You can actually choose the wrong movie, duplicate it, and he might not think it's funny at all. And that's sort of where a lot of really hot girls that get in a really open environment situation find themselves dangerously close to, is picking a funnyism and then sticking with it until they try and reinvent it like themselves. Like, yeah, but it's really funny when I do it, right? Because it's a really pretty face doing a really stupid thing. It's like, no. Not at all. Mainly because the fact of the matter is a person that's classy has a high IQ of where you got stuck and where other girls are. Way over here. And the first rule is, if you're way over here, is you just watch the movie. Don't talk. The only thing that you need to learn in the building blocks of a relationship is saying, I know, right? Or, like, you know, like the sarcastic, like, when something is stupid, like if you're not a girl that lives with a multi-billionaire that can't identify when someone else is a moron, standing with shoulders high next to him, don't say, wasn't that so funny? Just do this. Don't do it with a snobby expression, just go, and then just sort of move on. And then there's always just like when you're wanting to be agreeable, it'll take you a long way with a really, really classy guy. Just be like, I know, right? And then just be like, seriously. These things of making it to where you're not always in need of a conversation, he'll love you for. Just agreeing and liking his house and working out and wearing nice clothes that are really suggestive and being very clean all at the same time is the only thing he's looking for. Now, the secret that you were wondering about getting funny is the exact same concept of what it is I said not to do. For instance, if you're watching these B-rated movies that have very bad acting, you're gonna do very, very stupid shit. Now, if you want to get a very, very funny approach, now, as far as a guy that's very, very classy, the reason why this is important is because this 80s movie has been learned from and all of these are all the way past it. If this is your favorite and that's where you were and where you are and where your parents were and where your aunts and uncles were, don't even try. When you finally start talking like, you know, anything like that, like if you're doing a funnyism from a very, very old B-rated movie, it's not going to fly. The only, and I mean the only way that you will keep this billionaire once you get there with that curvature on your back and the cleanliness and the clothes and the, I know, right? And seriously, is to lay Dane Cook's comedy routines on top of that silver board in your brain. And when you dream that night, they'll fuse and the doorways will open here. It's like in the dream world, you go over and knock and you say, hi, I admire you so much. Can I just shake your hand? And then he goes, yeah, sure. And then you get electrocuted. And what happens is your patient personality when you're hanging out with this new classy guy will broaden from, I know, right? And seriously, to a funnyism that is from the best comedian in the world. Self-made, self-developed, a very, very high-level IQ understanding. Now, the reason why you're wondering, like, well, what makes Dane Cook such a serious specimen? Because he's seen a lot to know, he did all the work for you on what this girl liked and thought was funny, what this girl liked and thought was funny, what this girl liked and thought was funny, what this girl liked and thought was funny. And how did he do it? A very, very awesome genetic trait, and it's these right here. And girls find it something that they want to duplicate. So whenever he's going around talking, girls have an admiration towards genetic traits on a face to take to themselves. Given the right amount of money, I want those. Given the perfect circumstance, I want those. And you get a lot of lenience time to make them laugh, and he's learned them all. He, in fact, did all the work for you. So the way that he approached things is basically as if he was at a party and that there was a lot of people around, and he's learned based on being around a gorgeous girl right here what she thought was funny. He took all of that hard work of those independent moments of the only thing that the hottest girl in the whole party thought was funny, and brought him to a fused personality, to a stage to where everybody can learn how to be and act. Now, eventually when you're talking to your boyfriend and a particular circumstance happens, instead of it being, I know, right? It'll be something of a particular skewed angle at the world, and then you'll deliver. Because you got to listen to it over and over again. You got to watch the videos over and over again. It's a cheat. You're not necessarily even doing it to enjoy it. You're doing it because you're analyzing it. You're like this. You're like, imagine that part in the movie Transformers when the girl says, like, you know, if he's a Transformer, why is he this piece of shit yellow car? And then he just goes like, and then he like scans the other yellow car. You have a responsibility to scan the Dane Cook approach. Like you're doing a blue, like, zzz, zzz, and everything goes. Now, all of the characterisms, when you go into the dream world, it's just like, and it's like, can I just shake your hand? Now, as long as, see, you can see that Dane Cook from his very, very first stand-up kind of went from this, like, heavy-set guy to learning a few things, and then learning a few things, and then learning a few things, and then he delivers at Madison Square Garden. And it's like, pow! He's the one hybrid that crossed being the in-house that never can leave his house porn star to a highly developed comedian for everybody to see. Everything that he's learned along the way, even when doing porn, in all of his relationships, with his comedy in the first place, fused together with an in-house, and we all know that they never leave. He crossed over that wall, fused porn with comedy, just so everybody could see the final copy and everything that he found out with his comedy understanding for you to learn from. The only thing that you have to do is put it in the DVD player or listen to the audio recorder and then just sort of digest it, inhale it. Same thing goes for all of the Jerky Boys albums from New York City. If you don't understand the concept of a person that doesn't have an accent but has a borrowed accent that's so real it's there, and how funny that is, you need to find out. It's not anything that someone can teach you. It's only something that you can actually listen, go to sleep. They fuse. Zzz. When you wake up, it's sort of like somebody that gets, a woman would know, when you get like an implant or surgery, does it go away after 5 days? No. This comedy fusing that happens, it doesn't go away. It's a permanent green plate on top of a silver plate, and it fuses. And you're still the same person, you at particular timing points in your relationship, with your original approach of being very casual like Haley Williams, then you'll. Now, if you're wondering, because you know, like saying, well, this is funny, that is funny. No, because the classy guy knows what we learned from and have moved past. I'm not talking about what I think. I'm not talking about what your uncle thinks or what your dad thinks or what your brother thinks or what your sister thinks or what your friends think. I'm talking about the only thing that matters is the goal. Now, if he knows where we've started from and where we're at, and you're still back here, and you suddenly get told you can start talking, and you're only fused with a really, really sort of old version of comedy, he's going to know, and he's not going to tell you that he knows. And exactly what you were scared of happening and why you were scared is going to be what ends up happening. Just because, I mean, you didn't decide to just download it for free on the internet or just order it for $5, $30 off of the internet while you still can today, and then just listen to it once a night before you go to bed from start to finish.